How do you pick color palettes that don't suck? Let me show you. Well, I'll show you what I know at least. I'm gonna go through all of these 4, and then I'm gonna teach you actually how to make your own palettes without the use of a video. The first is when you take any gray block of your choosing and pick one color. Like, only one. You gotta stick to it. I mean, these are clearly different blocks, but they're pretty much the same color. You're gonna use it for the entire build. I really like this house. I think it's pretty. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. I don't love this side, but, you know. I made a lot of houses, okay? This is very unusual for me. It's kind of monochrome, but we're gonna go over that later when I show you how to make your own color palettes. And then this next one, it's more of a city industrial kind of look, so you use a lot of like hard blocks. I also didn't experiment too much with the color of the dandelions because you don't want to detract. Red would blend in and white kind of pops out in a not distracting way. The red and the green actually go together pretty well. I'll go over that later as to like why that works. Next on the list, I don't love it, but I think it gets the color block palette thing across, because if you just look at this, then it looks okay. It is kind of expensive. You could totally just make them all this color because the copper block has a lot of different colors in it, so it still looks pretty good, but I just mixed in the prismarine for fun. It's important to mix in the mossy cobblestones, or the mossy stone bricks. That's what someone pointed out to me in the comments. I definitely agree. I would say that if these were anything but blue, I might not put as many or them at all because it might just look dirty. But like in this case, it looks like it matches. So last one here, all of these actually use complementary colors. I'll show you later how the red and green don't look like Christmas, or at least to me, especially on that one. This one might be a little more walking the line. Really good thing that I've used a lot is either match the flowers to the walls or match the flowers to the roof. It looks nice. I'm gonna start this with a brief introduction on color theory. I promise it's not boring. So for that first house over there, it's gonna be more of a monochrome palette. Just pick a color on the color wheel. You only choose black, white, gray, and then you choose one color and stick with it throughout. Do not use anything else. And it looks very coherent, and it's probably the easiest palette to do. Next one is a complementary set. That's when you take 2 colors on opposite sides of the color wheel and mix them together. In the case of that house, it would be red and green. So they're right across from each other. Yellow, purple, green, red, just anything across from each other. The issue with this is complementary colors look so good together that most of the time it's things you can think of. Bears, Christmas, right? It might be like, oh great, yeah, I can use complementary colors, but I don't want to make a bear's house and I don't want to make a Christmas house. So how do you fix that? Let's say you take red and green. One of the blocks can be actually red, obviously, but the other block could be something that's not a real block, quote unquote. You would never make the walls out of leaves. It's not really registering as this is a red and green house. It's registering as this is a red house with like a black outside, and the leaves just fade into the background. Another way you could do this, let's say you wanted to make a blue and orange house. You would probably want to make the orange block something not obnoxiously orange, like something really pale, right? And then the blue could be something also not too obnoxious either, right? This doesn't look like the bears. You know, I'm just gonna say it outright. But it's still blue and orange, so they look really nice together, and you probably want to mix dark and light, mix in, you know, and then you have a pretty normal color palette that looks really nice. Desaturate the colors, saturate them. The color wheel over here is really extreme. These are the most saturated versions of the colors, and I would not recommend using any of them in full saturation. I actually used this one for that house right there. So the reason why I included brown, even though it's not really on the color palette, is just because you use brown so much in builds, I feel like. I would say that if you're gonna use heavy brown, then any sort of blue or greenish color will look pretty good. This is the really basics of color theory. There's so much more to dig into. I literally only went into monochrome and complementary, which is like nothing. Another one would be colors that are right next to each other. I mean, you could probably put together in your own mind why colors next to each other would look good, but I'm gonna show you anyways. Any colors next to each other will also look pretty good. It'll make your build look kind of samey, so like this one might work, but like these 3 up here might look a little much, unless it's like an Easter build. But I could see these 3 in like a nether build or something. Just keep in mind color theory if you want to make your own palettes, or, you know, if all else fails, you can always be basic. Alright, thank you so much for watching this kind of mess of a video. I just want to show you what I know about color theory because I already like drawing, so I know a little bit about it. So hopefully this helps you, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Also, I didn't want to interrupt the video, but this is not meant to be limiting or whatever. Like I said, there's a million different color schemes, or you could just pick blocks and not care about any of them. So this is just to get you started. Okay, bye for real.